All right, here we go. From the inside out. Ronnie on the spot. Chris Curtis and the Sandman. So I this will just be a quick little get down that we can throw up here tonight because I told you a little get down night before last about landing drones in Lancaster, right? Let me clean these glasses up so I ain't looking at you all cross-eyed. Um, so I went and I got the pictures to go along with it, and I told you, hey, you know what? I used to have the homeboy come late at night and he'd get between the two water towers, right? And so this picture that's up there right now shows the two water towers. And if you take it and you blow it up a little bit, you'll notice that right across from it is a building inside the fence that has these blue, um, it's the same picture with the water towers. Right across from it, it has these blue tubs. Right now they're a little empty because they must have just picked them up not long ago. But that whole space right there gets filled up with those, and there's a little area they work out in the middle, right? So, anyways, there's the homie would come kick it in the water tower area right there, fly that drone right over to them blue fucking tubs right where that's at, and that's in PIA. That's where my celly worked. Now the second picture is a blown up picture of all them tubs and stuff so that the barrels. Those were old empty chemical barrels. They aren't the full ones. Those are the empty ones. They bring them out when they're done and they get picked up. So the drone would get crash landed right there, land right there. It was just left. We went through a drone every time. We never even tried to fly him back out. One way trip, man. And that was the get down. You go to the next picture, you're gonna see a little more drawn back picture of the tubs and everything with the PIA. And then the next one, I told you the painter, my silly would give it to this Southsider friend of mine, the painter, and he had a false bottom in his cart. And the reason he had a false bottom is this little building that you see right here with a little walkway out front. That's called work change. It's got a metal detector and all that in there. So he'd put it in the false bottom, bam, in his cart, and he'd push it, and he'd stop the cart. They'd look it over. He'd walk through the metal detector, come around, get his cart, and push it down that little walkway out to the track. And he'd take it right over to this next picture where the basketball court is and everything. That was my building. And he'd take it right over to that building, right to my cell, and he'd dump off everything I just had dropped off in the drone. Like I said, this is old hat, man. We crashed that drone into the fence on the way in. I guess the homie was been up a little while, been tweaking for 4 or 5 days, and drunk and got a 502 right into the fence. So there's that. There's the building, and then I had talked to you, and I said, you know what? Then that we're opportunistic people, man. Convicts aren't stupid, and they're always looking for that moment that they can fucking exploit a situation. So I told you about doing the computers for school for the warden, the bunch that was going over to Africa, right? And I was locked over here, and this next picture right here shows these that's two PI areas, and I was locked in the building. And he would park, and it's off to the side of that building right there, and he would park his truck outside that building, and we'd go out there to smoke, right? And I'd be out there in that little area there smoking, and I look across the road and I see that they parked the trucks out there. And I was back there by myself. He was getting ready to leave, looking at his truck. So I know he's getting ready to leave, and he drives off in his truck. It was a state truck. And he takes it out there, and I watch him take it right to the freaking parking lot and leave it. And that's the next picture. It shows a bunch of vans and everything. Back then, there was the truck there. And just right across the street right there. People could just drive up. So, like I said, you see the van there and the pictures in the parking lot and everything. Here's a more blown up picture of the van, right? And you see that. And then I zoom back here again, you get a better picture of the parking lot, the everything right there, right? So I'd have the magnet put on I'd have a tin can like a old breath mint can, bigger can, and have a speaker magnet put on it and have it go up to that fucking truck in the parking lot when my boss had parked it at night and left it and stick that fucking thing. He's just right there by the road and stick that magnet underneath that motherfucker to the frame. Come back in. My boss would park that son bitch right outside there where he parks it, and I'd go outside for a cigarette break, and I'd pull that tin can and that magnet. And that all came because one day I was squatting next to the truck and looking at the trucks parked in the parking lot right outside the fence. And I knew right then I could get anything I wanted. In fact, when I left that joint that time, because I'd opened it up, and when I paroled, I tried to send some very vicious things back into that prison, but didn't really nobody want me to do that. Um, I did take care of some other things though, but that is what that is. And then you go back and you go all the way back again to the picture of the barrels in the water towers, right? You know, all I did was playing with Google Earth one day and was looking at the pictures of the joint. I'm looking at these pictures, man, and it all come together in my mind. It dawned on me. Why? Because I was an opportunistic motherfucker, man. I was always looking for a way to beat them. You know, they're always looking for a way to catch me. I was always looking for a way to beat them. And that's just what it was. It's a cat and mouse game. So I figured I'd put all this up there too. You give you these pictures and whatnot. And this would be a real quick clip right here. And it should drop here in just a few minutes. But in any event, you'll get all in pictures. They'll show you there right now, and you'll be able to see plain as day exactly what I'm talking about. And convicts aren't stupid. Where there's a fucking will, there's a way, and we're always looking for the way because you better believe we got the will. Thank you.